This is the review for Dopesick, Episode 2, Breakthrough Pain. Once again, we're going to be jumping around just like I did in the previous review. So it starts off, opening scene with a grand jury. 1996. First of all, it takes 10 to 15 years for a new drug to complete inception to the marketplace. If OxyContin did not do well, Purdue Pharma would have lost $40 million. That basically would have sank the entire company. In the next scene, Richard Sackler is speaking to his family. He wants weekend seminars held for doctors so that they can know how revolutionary the drug is. He wants OxyContin to be looked at as one of the most important medications in the history of medicine, right beside penicillin. And I don't care what nobody say, penicillin is the best antibiotic to me. Whenever you pee and can smell the medication in your urine, that's good for me. I have always liked penicillin because that way you know that damn infection is gone. Because the penicillin, you can smell it in your urine. I have not smelt that with any other antibiotic. Moving on. Okay, next scene. Billy is back at Dr. Finnick's office. And he's back bearing gifts. He has flowers for the receptionist and a mani-pedi for the next time he comes. An all-expense paid trip to Arizona at a 5-star resort to hear pain experts discuss new treatments. This is for Dr. Finnick. So as you can see right now, he paid attention in class when I don't want to call him rep, but let's just call him head rep or teacher, was telling him how to entice the doctors and how to get into the door with receptionists. Do things to make them feel special and make them feel good. Buy them gifts if you have to. So he's doing exactly what that teacher was telling the reps to do in that class. Okay, so after that scene, it shows Dr. Finnick seeing another patient who is a male, and the male has long-term chronic pain to his arm. The pain is so bad that he can barely lift it. So Dr. Finnick gives the patient OxyContin. So this is the second patient that he has given OxyContin. Remember, first it was Betts. Now it's this particular man. It goes on stating in the grand jury because it keeps flipping, like I said. So there's a doctor in the grand jury talking, and he says, when OxyContin is first used, it's effective. The patient feels like their life is instantly transformed. Then the scene goes to Richard Sackler. He's talking to his lawyers about figuring out a medical condition that would require an OxyContin patient to double their dose. That's when breakthrough pain comes into effect. Breakthrough pain is a specific type pain that breaks through the 12-hour cycle. Their solution is to double the dose. If they are on a 10 milligram dose, bump it up to 20. If they are already on 20, then double to 40. The whole point of this is for reps to get doctors to double the doses for the patients. This breakthrough pain usually happens on the 9th and 10th hour, especially if the pain is uniquely acute. So after this, Billy calls Dr. Phoenix with breakthrough pain info and tries to get him to double the doses of his patients. Dr. Phoenix said, no, that's too strong a narcotic for that. Then the rep tells doctor to double the 10 milligram to 20 on the patient with back pain. So, as you see here, which kind of baffled me when I watched the episode, okay, how is the sales representative going to tell the doctor who went to school for 8+ years how to do their job, medical school? How are you going to tell me how to do my job when I specialize in this shit? That's what had me so baffled. How are you going to tell me I know how medication works in the body? I know what portions of the body it goes in to break down. How are you going to tell me how to administer medication and when to increase the dosage, especially on a narcotic? You don't know the pathophysiology of the medication. You don't know the chemistry of the medication, the breakdown. You don't know how it works in the body. And I was like, Dr. Phoenix, come on. Really? You're going to sit up there and you're going to listen to this young ass boy who is a sales rep who's pushing a product? Because the more doctors that he gets, the more money he gets, the more money Purdue Pharma gets. It's all a money game, and it's disgusting. So doctors are being told that OxyContin is not as strong as morphine. This is causing confusion amongst doctors, because doctors are like, how the hell this is not as strong as morphine? Both are opioids. How is it not as strong as morphine? Purdue Pharma knows that OxyContin is more potent, but will continue to lie because they want to get that money. So they're back in court at the grand jury because it's flashing back and forth. The side effects of morphine are difficulty breathing, sedation, coma, and death. OxyContin is more potent than morphine. Its active ingredient, oxycodone, is twice as potent as morphine. So yes, OxyContin is way more powerful than morphine. So now the U.S. attorney is back to this promotional video. Remember that promotional video to where people were constantly saying that, I'm on this medication, this pain medication, time-released medication, when they were not saying OxyContin. So we're back to that part now. That video was called I Got My Life Back. The people making the promotional video said because the U.S. attorney went to go and find them, once they found them, they wanted to talk to them. And they said they were given instructions that the participants were not to say the name of the medication because it was not to promote OxyContin. It was to be a public service announcement for pain relief. And now see, that's sketchy already. That would raise my antennas like, what the hell? Okay, if I was the person making the video, shooting the video, and I'm asking the questions to the patients or clients, whatever you want to call it, who are using this medication, I would be like, why can't they say the name of the pain medication? That doesn't sound right. That raises antennas right there. So anyway, as the U.S. attorney is still talking um, to the people that made the promotional video, the people told the U.S. attorney that instructions on dosage of OxyContin graphics was to be added after the shoot when the video was being edited. See, that's cricket. So then the deputy attorney general wants the U.S. attorney to come to D.C. to discuss the case with him. See, so now it's garnering more attention. The U.S. attorney is going to see patients in the promotional video. So he went to all the people that were in that video. Some have died. Some are well on their way to death because they're addicted to the OxyContin. One of the ladies who was in the video, they wrote a note and left it on her door. So she finally called them back and was willing to speak with them. So they went over to talk to her. And her name was Regina Carter. So she called Randy. Randy is the assistant U.S. attorney. So called Randy. And what she said was that her tolerance to the OxyContin grew and doctors kept doubling her dosage. She was at 160 milligrams a day. Started falling asleep at work, lost her job, her car, her house. She had to go into bankruptcy. They asked her, how did you get off of the drug? She said she weaned herself off. And she said it was the hardest thing that she ever had to do in her life. She said they were used in that video to help the company make billions selling drugs. And then she said something very true. Big companies buy themselves out of trouble. Black kids, because she was a black woman, black kids sell weed and get put away for decades. And you know, that's so true because there are still black people in prison for selling weed, in the 90s. And weed is legalized in many states, California being one of them. But that's absolutely ridiculous. Even if you were selling weed when it was illegal, to give them 15 and 20 years is absolutely ridiculous. I digress. Back to the review. So, Dr. Alan Spanios, he was the one who told all the patients to do the promotional video. And he was the one who was supplying the patients with OxyContin. So, the assistant U.S. attorney went to speak to Dr. Spanios. He went to New York and reached out to him. 15,000 doctors were sent videos of Dr. Spanios promoting OxyContin. He was promoting that it was a pain medication that was not addictive. And then the U.S. attorney and the U.S. attorney assistant told him about the patients that died from overdoses and told him about the ones that are on their way to overdose and what he has done, what his video has done. He sent that promotional video to 15,000 doctors, and I'm pretty sure their patients were in the same boat, addicted or dead. So now it pans back to Bridget, who works for the DEA and the diversion unit. Bridget went to a clinic. She saw a lot of people outside the clinic door, and she saw a line. So of course, it piques your interest when you see what looks like or appears to be strange activity. So when she went inside, she went up to the receptionist in the front and found out that she could get 120 something, I forgot if it was 128, 129 pills every 28 days for a certain amount of money. So what she wanted to do was she wanted to talk to this doctor because the receptionist told her the doctor's not in right now. So she's like, I want to talk to the doctor. And, apparently the doctor wasn't going to be in until that Thursday. So she said, but I'm having like some really, really bad shoulder pain. And then she looked at the patients in the clinic and said, they all are. So she walked out pissed off. The video pans back to 1996. Dr. Phoenix is having lunch with Billy. So Billy is really working his magic. He is doing everything he can to get into Dr. Phoenix's good graces. Next, it gets back to Bets. Bets is sitting on the couch in the living room with her mother, and she tries to tell her that she's gay. And in actuality, she did tell her. Her mother is sitting on the couch across from her, knitting. And Bets was scared, and Bets told her. But her mother acted like she didn't hear her and said, oh, honey, did you say something? And then Bets said, oh, no, I didn't say anything. And then the mother kind of put her head down. But I said, wow, that sucks. That really, really sucks. You heard her. She was right in front of you. It was the dead of silence. And then she just ignored her, basically. So at that time, Bets goes to her girlfriend, Grace. And she told her, you know what? I want to go to Arkansas with you. Let's do it. Let's get out of here and let's go to Arkansas. Because she wants to be free. That scene pans out to something else. The U.S. attorney tells Bridget, the DEA, who works for the DEA, the promotional video was a fraud because they were saying pain medication. They did not say, Oxycontin. And then the two people that were shooting the video said how they had to edit and put in the medication after the video was complete. It was fraudulent. So Bridget told them that you need to speak to Sarah Miller and Judy Collin at the DOJ, Office of Litigation. So after they went to go see Sarah and Judy and spoke with them, they were told that they should charge Purdue Pharma with criminal misbranding. Ray tells his co-worker that, he's going to be out for a week because he has to have surgery. And his co-worker is like, okay, what's wrong? Everything okay? He said, I have prostate cancer. Took him a while to find out, but I have it. It hasn't spread. In actuality, he was lying because he was urinating blood prior to this. I think he knew earlier. So that's the part that they were on. He asked them, could he pray for him? The assistant U.S. attorney said, he's not into that kind of thing. So now, we get back to Phoenix. In 1996, Phoenix comes to the seminar. Remember that seminar I was talking about that Billy told him, you need to come to the seminar. So he came to the seminar, At that seminar were the country's leading independent pain organizations. They had representatives from the American Pain Foundation, the National Foundation for the Treatment of Pain, the American Chronic Pain Association, the American Pain Society, the American Academy of Pain Medicine. So they had it all organized and everything. So the guest speaker was Dr. Russell Portensey. Now the thing about Dr. Russell is this. Dr. Phoenix read his book when his wife was going through ovarian cancer, and it helped him out a lot. So he was the guest speaker, so he was kind of excited about that. And he was saying, could he please autograph his book? So guest speaker Dr. Russell Portensey was co-chief of pain and palliative care at Sloan Kettering. One thing he said, which I disagreed on because I thought that it needed more elaboration. He said, when narcotics are prescribed by a doctor, they are most likely not to get addicted. Because just because a doctor prescribes a medication does not mean that they're not going to get addicted. You have to take the medication as prescribed by the doctor. So that means not to take another 2 or 3 pills that day or that hour. Take the medication as directed by the doctor. Period. If you notice any changes, you are supposed to notify that doctor as soon as possible, especially side effects and adverse reactions. If you notice you feel in a certain way, hey, you need to contact the doctor. So at these events, doctors were co-opted by Purdue Pharma. So Billy kind of, I don't want to say push, but he was very urgent in telling Dr. Phoenix to speak at this retreat. And he said, there's no need to worry. I'm going to be asking the questions. So Phoenix goes on stage and talks about how MS Contin was effective with his wife's cancer. So he put his personal experience in that. So then later on, after he spoke, someone else from Johnson & Johnson, who now works for Purdue Pharma, told him that he should really be a speaker, because for one speech, you get $500 to $3,000 a speech. So now it goes back to Bets. Bets was in bed. She woke up screaming in pain at night. And her girlfriend said, I thought the pain medication was working. And it pans back to the grand jury with the doctor talking, and he says there are many cases in which a higher dose loses its effectiveness quickly because patients develop a tolerance. This makes the user increase their dose again at a faster rate. It's one of the reasons why overdose rates are so much higher on OxyContin. So that part was over. She threw up, looked in her glove compartment, and took some more medication. Then it goes to Richard Sackler. He's in his office. He's in there with his lawyers. And he got like a, what is that called? When you see the results of his efforts with the doctors coming to the seminars, how effective this has been. So what he found out was that doctors have been writing twice as many prescriptions after attending a seminar, rather than the ones who don't attend a seminar. So his cousin said, I have a question. What about the patient who is at 40 milligrams and then they experience breakthrough pain? Remember at that 10th hour, between the 9th and 10th hour? Well, this is when they came up with the 80 milligram pill. The 80 milligram pill was the double 40, and that is going to be introduced to the marketplace. This is so crazy to me because I can see how Dr. Phoenix got kind of snowed. I can see that. I can see how he got snowed. He was such a good doctor, one of those doctors that make house calls, and it's really hard to find a good doctor that actually cares and will not just keep you in the office for about 8 minutes. Oh, this wrong. I had one doctor, he was assessing me wrong, like when he was listening to my lungs, didn't even hear. He was in the wrong place. So it's when you find a good doctor, you get happy, and it's a good thing because they actually care. And that's what Dr. Phoenix was. He's a good doctor that actually cares about his patients. But he got caught up in some lie, a big lie. And that sucks. That really, really sucks. And it makes you question medication. No wonder why my granddaddy and his mother and his siblings didn't take pain medication. Actually, I know a lot of people that don't take pain medication. They like, no. It'll go away. Let me just do this. Let me lay down. It'll go away. Because you know what? With pain, you have to feel it. Because pain lets us know that something is wrong. And usually pain medication is to mask the problem, depending on what the pain is. Me, I have pain, but my pain is not severe. When I have a flare-up, a rheumatoid flare-up, it can get extremely painful, and I'll take medication for that. But my pain is pretty much constant. My normal pain, it's constant. It's about like a 2, I can deal with, but it's basically like the kind of pain to say, hey, I'm here. I'm not going nowhere. I'm here, and that's fine. I feel it. It is what it is. But you have to be very, very careful with pain. Can you imagine Oxycontin for a damn headache? For real? For a headache. And that was a narcotic. And the one woman in the promotional video was saying, oh, she can get up and do things. And one was saying they can go to work. Since when can you go to work on a narcotic? You cannot drive under the influence of a narcotic because it's just like alcohol. And you will be ticketed. Driving under the influence. Yes. It's not worth it. But I hope you guys enjoyed my review. Hit the like button. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do and share it. And I thank you very kindly for listening. You guys have a very beautiful evening. Bye-bye.